Hello everyone, and welcome back to Applied Library. On this channel, we explore powerful books and timeless ideas, not just to understand them intellectually, but to see how their wisdom can actually transform the way we live. Today's episode is about a remarkable spiritual work, The Book of Knowing and Worth by Paul Selig. This book is part of a series of channeled teachings that explore one of the deepest questions a human being can ask. Who am I, really? Not the roles we play, not the stories we tell ourselves, but the deeper truth beneath all of that. And according to this book, the answer to that question may change everything about how we experience our lives. So in this episode, we'll explore the core ideas behind the book, the spiritual principles it introduces, and most importantly, what it means for us in everyday life. Take a moment, settle in, and let's begin. There is a quiet belief that lives in the background of many human lives. It rarely speaks loudly, but it influences almost everything we do. The belief sounds something like this: I am not enough, not worthy enough, not capable enough, not spiritual enough, not deserving enough. Many people spend their entire lives trying to compensate for this silent assumption. We work harder. We chase achievements. We search for approval. We attempt to prove our value. But according to the Book of Knowing and Worth, this entire struggle begins with a misunderstanding about our identity. Because the moment we believe we are inherently lacking, we begin living from that belief. Our choices change. Our expectations shrink. And the world we experience begins to reflect that inner assumption. The book proposes something radical. What if the problem was never that you lacked worth, but simply that you forgot it? One of the central ideas in the book is the distinction between believing something and knowing something. Belief is fragile. Beliefs depend on circumstances. They depend on evidence. They depend on what others say. But knowing is different. Knowing is direct. It's the difference between believing the sun exists and actually feeling its warmth on your skin. When you know something deeply, it no longer needs external validation. And according to the teachings in this book, spiritual transformation doesn't happen through belief systems. It happens through knowing. The knowing of who you truly are. But here's the challenge. Most of us have spent our entire lives defining ourselves through the small self. The personality, the history, the collection of memories and roles we've accumulated. And while these things are part of our human experience, they are not the whole story. The book suggests that beneath the personality exists something far more fundamental. A deeper identity, an aspect of ourselves that already exists in truth, beyond fear, beyond limitation, beyond the constant need to prove our worth. And the journey of the book is about remembering that identity. Throughout the Book of Knowing and Worth, the teachings often return to three simple but powerful declarations. They are not presented as affirmations in the usual sense. Instead, they are invitations to recognize something already true. The statements are: I know who I am in truth. I know what I am in truth. I know how I serve in truth. At first glance, these sentences might seem simple, but the intention behind them is profound. Because when someone truly begins to know who they are beyond the conditioned identity, their relationship with life changes. Fear begins to loosen its grip. The need for external validation starts to fade, and the endless effort to prove oneself begins to dissolve. Why? Because when worth is known internally, it no longer needs to be earned externally. The book suggests that much of humanity operates under a kind of shared illusion, an inherited belief in separation and inadequacy. We see ourselves as isolated individuals competing for limited resources, approval, and success. From that perspective, life becomes a struggle for survival and recognition. But the teachings in the book challenge this assumption. They propose that our essential nature is not separate from the greater intelligence of life. Instead, we are expressions of it. And when we forget this connection, we begin living as if we are alone in the universe. That feeling of isolation creates anxiety. Anxiety fuels control. Control leads to conflict, and the cycle continues. But when someone begins to reclaim their inherent worth, something shifts. Life is no longer approached from fear, but from participation. Instead of fighting reality, we begin aligning with it. One of the most fascinating insights in the book is the relationship between identity and experience. According to the teachings, the world we experience often reflects the level of identity we claim for ourselves. If someone identifies as powerless, their life begins to organize around limitations. If someone identifies as unworthy, they may unconsciously reject opportunities that would prove otherwise. But when identity expands, perception changes. New possibilities become visible, and life begins to reorganize around a different understanding of self. This idea has appeared in many spiritual traditions throughout history. But in the Book of Knowing and Worth, the concept is presented in a very direct way. The teachings suggest that transformation does not begin by changing external circumstances. It begins by recognizing the truth of what we already are. And when that recognition stabilizes, life begins responding to it. Interestingly, many people struggle to accept the idea that they are inherently worthy. Not because it sounds unpleasant, but because it challenges a lifetime of conditioning. For years, we may have been told that worth must be earned through success, through productivity, through sacrifice. So when someone encounters the idea that worth is inherent, it can feel uncomfortable, almost irresponsible. But the teachings in the book make an important distinction. Recognizing inherent worth does not mean becoming passive or self-centered. In fact, it often produces the opposite effect. When someone knows their worth, they no longer need to compete for validation. And that freedom allows them to contribute more authentically to the world. Service becomes natural, not forced, not performed for approval, but expressed as a natural extension of who they are. One of the quiet shifts the book encourages is a change in how we approach life itself. Instead of seeing life as a battlefield where we must constantly defend and prove ourselves, we begin to see it as a field of participation, a place where our unique expression has value. When someone lives from that perspective, the quality of their actions changes. Work becomes more creative. Relationships become more genuine. Even challenges begin to look different. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" a new question emerges. What is this experience inviting me to become? That shift in perspective can transform the meaning of difficulty. Instead of obstacles, experiences become teachers. Instead of threats, they become opportunities for deeper awareness. Another unusual aspect of the book is the style in which the teachings are delivered. The language is repetitive, rhythmic, and sometimes poetic. And this is intentional. The idea is that language itself can function as a kind of energetic transmission. Repeated phrases are used not only to explain concepts, but also to help readers shift their awareness. Some people describe reading the book as less like studying philosophy and more like participating in a meditation, because the language slowly reorients the mind toward a deeper sense of identity. And over time, that new perspective begins influencing how life is perceived. Of course, it's one thing to talk about spiritual identity in theory. But how does this idea apply to everyday life? How does knowing one's worth affect ordinary situations? Imagine someone entering a room believing they are not good enough. Their body language changes. Their voice changes. Their willingness to express themselves changes. Now imagine the same person entering that room knowing they belong there. not because they are superior to others, but because their existence itself has value. That quiet confidence transforms every interaction. And the same principle applies to countless areas of life. Creative work, relationships, leadership, decision-making. The identity we carry internally often shapes the reality we experience externally. The book does not promise instant enlightenment or dramatic overnight transformation. Instead, it presents spiritual awakening as a gradual process of remembering who we are beneath fear, remembering our connection with life, remembering the worth that has always been present. And this remembering often happens in small moments. A moment of stillness, a moment of honesty, a moment when we stop trying to prove ourselves and simply allow ourselves to exist. Those moments can feel surprisingly powerful because they interrupt the old pattern of self-doubt. And every time that pattern loosens, space opens for something new. Perhaps one of the most challenging ideas in the Book of Knowing and Worth is the suggestion that accepting our worth requires courage. Not because worth is difficult to obtain, but because it requires releasing an old identity. An identity built on struggle, on self-criticism, on the belief that we must constantly improve ourselves to deserve happiness. Letting go of that identity can feel unfamiliar. But as the teachings suggest, worth is not something we achieve. It is something we recognize. And once recognized, it begins to change the way we live. When one person begins living from a place of genuine worth, the impact rarely stops with them. Their relationships change. Their presence affects others. Their way of seeing the world influences the environment around them. Confidence without arrogance. Compassion without self-sacrifice. Authenticity without fear. These qualities tend to inspire the same recognition in others. And in that sense, personal transformation becomes collective transformation. Because every individual who remembers their worth contributes to a different kind of world. A world where value is not measured solely by achievement or status, but by the simple fact of being alive and conscious. So what is the deeper message behind the Book of Knowing and Worth? Perhaps it can be summarized with a simple idea. You are more than the identity you have been taught to believe. Beneath the stories, the fears, and the expectations, there is something stable, something worthy, something already connected to the intelligence that created life itself. And the journey of awakening is not about becoming something new. It is about remembering what has always been there. Thank you for spending this time with us on Applied Library. If this episode sparked new reflections for you, or if you've read the Book of Knowing and Worth, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective might help someone else see the ideas from a new angle. And if you enjoy exploring powerful books and life-changing ideas like this one, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss future episodes. Until next time, keep learning, keep reflecting, and keep applying the wisdom you discover. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode of Applied Library.